Daybreak in India's holiest city, where a dip in the Ganges is a sacred ritual for Hindus. The calm here, a sharp contrast to the religious tensions simmering just below the surface of this ancient city built on prayer and devotion. A bitter legal dispute between Hindus and Muslims dominates Varanasi's Old Town, in an India increasingly divided along religious lines. A fight over this mosque, the city's oldest, built in the 17th century when the Mughals ruled India. The court battle has prompted prison-like security around Gyanvapi Mosque, now the subject of more than 24 separate legal cases, from Hindu petitioners arguing the mosque shouldn't be here, that it was built where a temple devoted to the god Shiva once stood. The initial court challenge came from these women who want the mosque to disappear. It's a deep-seated feeling in our hearts. We want to reclaim our temple, Sita Sahu says. The other women chime in, talking about a recent high court decision that ruled Hindus can now pray in the basement of the contested mosque. That's after an archaeological survey concluded there was once a temple there. It was a moment of happiness that faded fast, says Manju Vyas. It's unfair. Even if it's a win, these petitioners want more. The court ruling allowing access to the contested mosque came on the heels of this. India's prime minister leading a grand opening of a massive Hindu temple in another holy city, Ayodhya, built on the ruins of a mosque torn down by an angry Hindu mob in the 1990s. It's another spot where Hindus believe a temple once stood. That lavish ceremony has galvanized a push from Hindu nationalists to claim other Muslim sites across the country.
Massive support.
Narendra Modi's party, the BJP, is even campaigning on it, pairing anti-Muslim rhetoric with attacks against his main political opponent in this video, since removed from Instagram after a string of complaints. The Muslim invaders looted our treasures, it says, and they used to ruin our temples. It's a message that resonates deeply with Sohan Lal Arya. He proudly shows off the brick he took home in 1992, a piece of the former mosque in Ayodhya that he helped destroy. That was the first step, Arya says. Now it's the Gyanvapi Mosque that I want razed to the ground. He says he has nothing against the Muslim community, but they feel targeted. For Syed Muhammad Yassin, who has spent decades filing appeals to protect his mosque, the fight is exhausting and yet essential. We're not being heard at all, he says. It feels like the courts are skewed against us Muslims, and Prime Minister Modi too. Our situation is going from bad to worse, he says. The Gyanvapi Mosque here in Varanasi may be the most high-profile one, but it's far from the only mosque targeted by Hindu nationalists. There are hundreds of them. Mere days after the new temple in Ayodhya was inaugurated, a 600-year-old mosque that used to be here in the capital, Delhi, was bulldozed by authorities. It was illegal, they claimed, encroaching on land reserved for a forest. Other iconic Muslim monuments have been slapped with similar lawsuits questioning their existence, like Qutub Minar, Delhi's renowned red brick minaret. Even the world-famous Taj Mahal has been mentioned in court.
To construct temples.
For some historians who say maybe a couple of dozen temples were torn down by the Mughals, not thousands, it's a deeply worrying trend.
History is being replaced by myths.
A cynical rewriting of India's past, says this professor, to bring it in line with the Modi government's Hindu-first ideology.
Whatever drama is being played is just playing to the gallery to garner the votes of those who are illiterate, who are swayed only by the appeal of religion and nothing else.
But in Varanasi, at this traditional tea stall, there's a persistent sense of grievance. and no question among the patrons that the BJP's focus on temples is to be celebrated.
The friction has already been caused.
The religious tension won't go away, this man says, until one side gives way.
For better harmony to prevail, Muslim side should come forward and they should themselves offer the places.
Voluntarily, he says, we will wait. As the rallies and overt Hindu celebrations pour into the streets of the holy city, a sign of a shift towards one dominant religion, Hinduism, in a once more secular India. We're now halfway through this pivotal general election, and with turnout lower than last time, Narendra Modi is leaning into that anti-Muslim rhetoric. He's been accused of inflammatory speech after, at one rally, he called Muslims infiltrators who have more children. Modi claimed that they would take India's wealth if his political opponents won. Statements like that are stoking fears of what could come if Modi does indeed win a third term, as he's widely expected to.